So this right here is the DJI Air 2S. I have this drone now for 1 year. I basically fly mostly FPV, but I needed a Mavic, so I bought this one. First I had the DJI Air 2, then I sold that one and I bought the Air 2S. So today I will tell you, like, is this drone still any good? Like, should you buy it this year, or should you go to the Air 3 or maybe the Mavic 3? So let's go over all the advantages and disadvantages of this drone, and if I still would recommend it. So if you're deciding whether you should buy the Air 2 or the Air 2S, well, basically the Air 2 is still a really good drone. But the issue there is that that drone basically doesn't have 10-bit. It has a smaller sensor, it has a half-inch sensor, and this drone is basically the only DJI drone at this point with 1-inch sensor. The DJI Air 3 is actually a smaller sensor than this one, and the minis have also a smaller sensor, and the Mavic 3 has a bigger one that is a micro four thirds. So if you want a drone that is actually really capable in low light because of the bigger sensor and has 10-bit colors, has D-Log M and HLG, this is the drone you should get. If your budget is tight, you can actually still buy the Air 2. I still think that it is a really good drone. Only like if you really like need the 10-bit and some other features, then you should get this one. Well, when I saw the DJI was releasing the Air 3, I was actually hoping that that one would also have a 1-inch sensor or even maybe something bigger, but yeah, that's not realistic in a smaller drone, because therefore you have the Mavic 3. But when they said that the sensor will be smaller with this one, I was like a little bit skeptical about it. I asked a friend who owns it, and he had this one before, and he said that he actually liked the Air 2S much more, that he was not really happy with the low light capabilities. I'm not going to say if that's true or not. I mean, like, I didn't try the Air 3, but that's what I heard. And in my opinion, a sensor is really important. Like, you can put some, I don't know, like double sensor stacked hocus pocus thing in it. I don't know. My opinion is that the sensor does matter. The sensor size is actually really important. Of course, there are some algorithms and some new software and some processing that actually also matters. But yeah, I'm really happy with this drone that I have the 1-inch sensor in it. So yeah. Well, so when you're talking about photos, you have 20 megapixels photos in RAW. So it's really nice because you can still like zoom into the photo and still have a lot of detail. I know a lot of people ask me like, okay, but the DJI Air 2 had like 48 megapixels. That's not true, because it was actually 12 megapixels, but it had some like, how do you call it? But it had some like a pixel, every pixel was basically like divided somehow, and that then actually came to 48. So every pixel was divided in 4 and you get like 48 megapixels, smaller pixels probably. But I have to say, I tried shooting at 48 megapixels and it didn't look that nice. The same actually with the DJI Air 3, it has also the same thing. And I still think 1-inch sensor with 20 megapixels is amazing. That's actually the same thing as the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. So in my opinion, for photos, this thing is amazing. Like really, the photos are really nice. If you compare it actually to the DJI Mavic 3, it's really hard to like know which drone actually took the photo. Like, so therefore I think that it's really good. All right. About the video, so you can go to a 5.4K 30, so that is actually the highest resolution. Basically, this is the only drone with 5.4K because the DJI Air 3 has only 4K, and I think the DJI Mavic 3 has 5K, if I'm not mistaken, 5K 30. So yeah, this is the one actually with the highest resolution. Mostly, if I have to be honest, I shoot in 4K and 4K 60. So you have 4K 30, 4K 60, and also 4K 25, of course. But I mostly shoot actually in 4K 30 because I like to use the spotlight mode, so that you select a building and basically when you move the sticks the drone actually will do everything for you, kind of. It's maybe a little bit cheating, but I like it for some scenarios, not always, but I like it for some scenarios. And it will move actually the gimbal by its own. Yeah, I'm actually, like I said, I'm not so good at flying with Mavics. I still have to like practice a little bit because I'm mostly used to FPV, and I get actually more stressed with this than with the FPV drone because I trust the FPV drones and I feel like they're a part of myself. With this, I just still feel that I'm sending something out that I don't have like a real experience with. So yeah, but it's actually just about like practice, you know. Like I said, the color profiles that you basically, like in photos, you can shoot in RAW. The color profiles for like the color profile for video are basically the normal mode. Then you have the D-Log M and you have HLG. If you turn off, that's one thing that I want to let you know that I always forget, is when you turn off like basically the color profiles, like if you put it on normal, then at night you get a much higher ISO range, so you can go up to 12,000 I think. So that's pretty amazing because you get really nice low light videos during the nights like that. So yeah, when you do that, also when you go into normal mode, you have zoom. So basically in 4K, I think you have a 4x zoom, and then in 1080p you have 8x, or it was in 4K 2x, 1080p 8x, yeah, and then in 2.7K you can go 4x. One thing that I don't really like is when you're taking photos. There is like basically this one thing that I noticed is when you're taking actually raw photos, you get sometimes like some warping. Like if you have some building in the back, you should actually notice it. If you have a building in the back of your image, then sometimes you can get like some fisheye kind of like warping. I don't know why this happens. It only happens in the raw photos, not in the JPEGs. So what I do is then I search like in Lightroom the profile for the other Mavics, because this one is not there, but I try to use the other profile and it gets rid of it. So you can actually like do a lens profile correction and it will look okay. But I don't know why this drone does it and only in RAW, but yeah. So mostly Lightroom deletes this when you put it into the program, and then it automatically applies some lens correction. But with this Mavic, because it's not there in Lightroom, it's not available. Also, one thing that you should consider if you choose the Air 2 over the Air 2S is that the Air 2S actually has the C1 rating, the Air 2 doesn't. I mean, they are really similar drones, but what I actually read is that the Air 2 doesn't have like the newer transmission system, and also it doesn't have remote ID. So therefore it's not possible to basically register the Air 2 under the C1 label, and you cannot fly it in the category A1, so you can only fly it in A3. So therefore you cannot fly it in the cities, you cannot fly it like close to people or to buildings. You basically always have to fly it like somewhere else. So basically you can only fly it in some fields and somewhere in the nature. But if that's something that you want, like you're going for a hike and you want to take your drone with you and you never plan to do like any jobs or anything that is basically in the city, then you can get the Air 2 and you will actually be really happy with that. What are the advantages of this drone? Well, it's a really capable drone for not a lot of money. You can buy them second hand, sometimes for 500 euros with one battery. When you're lucky, you can buy the Fly More combo like for 700, 650, it depends. The battery is also really cheap. I think I bought like 2 batteries like for 70 euros. That's really crazy, because that's like the half of the price, almost the half of the price of one battery for the Air 3. I have to say the batteries are not so good if you compare it like maybe to the newer DJI drones, because the flight time on this one is actually not really good anymore. I mean, it's still decent. I think I get around 15 to 20 minutes max, but that's really max. It's not even flying like in cold weather or going somewhere like further away. you have to consider that if you get this drone, the battery life is not that good. The thing is, if you're doing like hyperlapses with your drone, you cannot make really long hyperlapses. You can, like, I don't know, like probably around 350 photos maybe. So that is around 11 seconds, maybe 12 seconds hyperlapses. Longer than that is almost impossible. So therefore, I think that if you want longer flight times, don't want to switch your batteries all the time. I have 4 batteries for this one. For me, it's more than enough because I actually never needed more, because 90% of the time when I film with it, I use it as like a B drone, like to my FPVs. And yeah, some shots are really cool with this, other shots I do with FPV drones. But yeah, so if you want longer battery life, you should actually look into the DJI Air 3 or maybe the Mavic 3 or some of the mini drones, because the DJI minis have also a really good battery. So yeah, that's something that you should consider. If you compare the drone to the Air 2, you have sensors on the front, on the back, on the bottom, and on top. The DJI Air 2 doesn't have sensors on the top, but one thing that I don't understand why DJI didn't do it is put sensors on the side. Like, this is such a pain. Like this is actually like one of the reasons that I would actually consider selling this drone and buy the DJI Air 3 or something else, is because we don't have side sensors. These side sensors are actually really important. Like if you're flying, like, I don't know, like around some building and there are some trees, it's really easy to forget how high those trees are, or if there are some like I don't know, pole or whatever. So therefore I actually had a couple of times that I almost crashed because yeah, I didn't see actually those obstacles. Actually, if you learn to fly with it, it's okay. I mean, I learned it now. I'm pretty okay now with it. I know people that actually turn off all the sensors on their Mavics and just fly manually, and they don't care about the sensors, they turn it off. So maybe I'm just not yet so experienced to fly with Mavics, because I'm used to fly with FPV drones. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if you are a beginner and you want to be sure, just buy a drone with side sensors. But I mean, it's not that you really need them, you know. So if you get skilled, like, you will be okay. You really don't need those side sensors. So yeah, it's basically really up to you. Like I said, this drone has the C1 rating, so basically you can register it on the DJI through the DJI app, and you get some stickers for the side, for under the battery also. And well, and this drone can also fly legally at night, so because it has like this flashing LED lights at night. What I really like about it is the bigger camera. Like, the camera looks really sturdy. It's like some metal or something. Yeah, just because there is a 1-inch sensor. When you remember the old DJI 2 Pro, this looks like the baby version of it. I don't know, like the camera and everything, but it's better because you have actually better like image quality. You have still the 1-inch sensor as the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, but only one thing that you don't have in this one is basically that you don't have adjustable aperture. You cannot change the aperture, so therefore you have to manually change like your exposure. So if you have like ND filters, you put an ND filter on it, you go up and you see that it's overexposed, you have to come back down, change the ND filter and go back up. But I have actually a really nice thing for that. Well, Freewell actually sells these variable ND filters with the black mist effect on it, so it makes like the digital sharpness of the video much less. So I really like them because it makes it a little bit nicer to combine with like cameras on the ground and with the GoPro, because the GoPro is a little bit softer. I still think that DJI tends to over sharpen the image of their drones and their cameras a little bit, so therefore it's really nice to have a black mist filter that actually brings down the sharpness and makes it look like a little bit more cinematic. If you look at my videos that I have here, almost all of them were actually shot by using these filters. I actually never go, and you can even turn down the filter like to almost the bottom, so it doesn't actually darken your footage a lot, but you still have that nice black mist effect. So I don't know, I actually bought them like for I think 30 euros for 2 of these filters. I'm not sure if you can still buy them because they were almost everywhere sold out. But you can still try. I think you can still find them somewhere. Also, what is really nice when you have like a variable ND filter, you can put it like to the max, and then you can make like really nice like motion blur photos, like shoot some waterfall or water or like something that is moving, and you will have like really nice of those trails. You know, water will look like some, I don't know, like mist. It wouldn't even look like water. Looks really nice. When you do it like during daylight, you can really go down like with the shutter speed, and you can have like a really nice effect. So if you don't have it, consider buying these variable ND filters. They are really nice. I actually have this remote. I didn't have the one with screen. I could buy one because they are not so expensive anymore, but if you have the money, you can still buy the one with the screen installed. That's pretty nice, but I didn't buy it because I used the tablet by Huge Rock, because that one has 2600 nits. So for me, it's basically more than enough. I really like that I see in the daylight everything really nicely, so therefore I won't switch for now. I will just keep it. Maybe later when I upgrade to a newer Mavic, then I can switch. So I actually think that I said everything that I wanted to say about this drone. And if you want a really good drone that is actually still okay to fly with in Europe, like in the A1 category, for not a lot of money, basically the cheapest drone that you can get to fly in the A1, if you don't actually like count in the minis, then this drone is really good for you. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments below. I will try to answer them, and yeah, hopefully I helped you a little bit. So that's that. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment in the comments. It really helps. I will try to make this YouTube channel a little bit more alive. So yeah, okay, see you, bye bye.